Hi GED students, Mrs. L here with our GED practice test series, and today we're looking at math question number 6, which is a continuation of question 5. So if you haven't watched the question 5 video, you might want to go back and do that first. This question says a scientist is studying red maple tree growth in a state park. She measured the trunk diameters of a sample of trees in the same month every other year. The tables show the data for 2 of the trees, and then we're given a table for tree 1 that shows year and corresponding trunk diameter, and also a table for tree 2. On the right, it says the scientist creates an equation that models her data for each tree so that she can predict the diameter in the future. Complete a linear equation that fits the data for tree 1, where x is the year and y is the trunk diameter in inches. Click on the variables and number you want to select and drag them into the boxes. Okay, so right away, they give us a blank equation for tree 1. Let's make note that we are working with tree 1 so we don't accidentally use the data from tree 2. Which would give us different answers. So y equals blank blank plus blank. Now, if you're kind of going, oh, I don't really remember, formulas for equation of a line, you can up here at the top, pull up the formula sheet, which you always have access to on the GED test. If you scroll down to the bottom of the formula sheet, you'll see the algebra section, and we've got slope of a line here and slope intercept form of the equation of a line, and then there's there's another variation point slope form of the equation of a line. Well, right off the bat, do you notice here that one of these equations looks like what we had? We had y equals blank blank plus blank. And I can see that that sort of fits this y equals mx plus b, and that is the slope-intercept form of the equation of a line. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to hop out of this formula sheet. I'm going to come back here and write that down, y equals mx plus b. Now, they give you a clue what those letters might mean in the title of that equation. In case you don't remember, it's the slope-intercept form. So we have one of those letters represents the slope, and one represents the intercept, the y-intercept. And m is the slope, and b is the y-intercept. So, you don't have to remember everything. You've got the formula sheet, you've got some clues here, but you do need to pull in a little bit of background knowledge here to know that slope equals m. Okay, now in this form, I notice that x will be in the second box, so I'm going to go ahead and drag that in right now. It's y equals blank x plus blank, where the first box is m, or slope, and the last box is going to be b, or the y-intercept, which is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. And that's also the point where x equals 0. So the first thing I've got to calculate is slope. Let's pop back to that formula sheet. They have slope of a line up here, and the equation says m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And what that really means is y2 minus y1 is the difference in y values between any 2 points on the line. So you can choose any 2 points. You take the y values and you subtract them to find the difference, and then you divide that by the difference in x values, okay? And that represents rise over run, or the distance vertically between any 2 points divided by the distance horizontally between those 2 points. So it's difference in y over difference in x, okay? So I'm going to go back to our table. I'm going to find 2 points that I want to use, and let me get rid of some of this writing here so we can see everything a little clearer. I'm going to find any 2 points that look like they'll be easy to work with, and I'm going to go ahead and let's just clear everything out here and start over with marking stuff. Okay, we're working with tree 1, remember. I'm going to look for 2 points that seem easy to work with. I like this one. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use year 1 because that seems really easy to work with, right? And the value of 18.6, and then year 3 and a value of 19.2. Okay, so now that I have 2 points selected, I'm going to go ahead and calculate that slope of a line. So I'm going to say, I'm going to call year 1, we're going to call that P1 or point 1, and point 2 is going to be year 3. So when I'm looking at that formula from the formula sheet, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, I'm going to be looking at the y from point 2, which is 19.2, and I'm going to subtract the y from point 1, which is 18.6. So I've got 19.2, oops, 19.2, wow, my writing isn't so good there, sorry, 18.6 over the x2 minus x1, so 3 minus 1. So I've got 0.6, and if you do that on a calculator, over 2, which comes out to 0.3. So what I've just calculated, oops, I ran out of writing space there. Let's remove that. Okay. 0.3. Okay, so what I just calculated is the slope. The difference in the y values of any 2 points divided by the difference in the x values of any 2 points equals 0.3. From my original slope intercept form of the line, y equals mx plus b, let's put that back. I know that m is slope, and that's going to go in this box right here. So I'm going to now drag in 0.3. So I'm almost done with this equation. Now I just need to figure out b, or y-intercept. Since I know, let's clear everything off. Since I know what slope is, and I have data over here for x and y data for multiple points, I can choose any x, y combination from that table, plug it in for x and y, and solve for b. So let's go ahead and do that, and choose a little darker color. All right, so over here I will write y, oops, turn on the pen. We're going to write y equals m, oops, x plus b, right? We know what m is, and we can choose any x or y. So let's go with working with an x value of 1. This point would be 1 comma 18.6, right? So I'm going to plug those in, because working with 1 makes things really easy. If you can ever work with a 1 or a 0 as one of your values for x or y, it kind of makes things easier. So y is 18.6. So on the next line, I'm going to substitute in 18.6 for y equals m, we know, is 0.3. I'm going to put that in parentheses, 0.3. Hold on, let's write that a little smaller so we can fit in parentheses 0.3. And then x is 1, and anything times itself, I'm sorry, anything times 1 is itself, so that's going to make that calculation easy, plus b. Okay, next line, 18. I am having trouble with my writing pad today, sorry about that. 18.6 equals 0.3, because 0.3 times 1 is 0.3 plus b. So to solve this equation now, I subtract 0.3 from each side. which cancels out that. And of course, what you do one side, you must do to the other in any equation. And I'm left with 18.3 over here equals B. And so now I've solved for B, which is this last box from our y equals mx plus b. So I can go ahead and drag that in. Our final equation is y equals 0.3x plus 18.3.